Welcome back to another VOD review. Today we're going to be doing a VOD review of a 3300 Zen player named Fliksty. So let's hop in and see how it goes. So she's starting on defense Savannah. Okay, off the bat, I think this is a bit of an aggressive positioning for Zen to be on this side, because if they have a Widow, which is very common on this map, and the Widow comes out on this side, which is pretty common, then you just die. Right? There's nothing to stop that. So for example, you see where the soldier is? If that wasn't a soldier and that was a Widow, you're dead. And as you climb, you're gonna have to start respecting those DPS a bit more, because they're also gonna be better and better. So I would have probably set up, like, if you want to do that poke, maybe set up here so that you get hard cover to use, you know, because then you can use this hard cover, you can use this, you can use this. If you're real scared, you can always just back out through here. Yeah, that seems like an unnecessary risk to me. You can hear the Ash and you see the soldier, so you should know that you're relatively not too much in danger here. Okay, nice killing the soldier. That little shuffle of heals that you did there is kind of a bad habit to get into. I think you're trying to fix which player you had your orb on there, but just remember, since they nerfed Zen's Harmony Orb projectile speed, like, that's your actual Harmony Orb right there. You see that yellow line? That's the Harmony Orb going to your Roadhog, and then once it's on him, it starts healing. So if you flick between targets too quickly, your Harmony Orb is actually in the duration, like in the middle of traveling. It's not actually on someone, it's not healing them. So I would try to not do that as quickly. Looking at your team comp in this, you have an Ana, so your Hog and your Rein are really prime targets for the Ana to heal. You really just need to focus on healing the Ana if she's hurt, because she doesn't have a self heal, and if she uses grenade, that's a waste of her grenade, kind of. And then I would also prioritize the Genji. I would just mostly leave the Harmony Orb on the Genji here, because Reaper has lifesteal. You can also orb the Reaper, but it's really just, yeah, but he has lifesteal, so it's really your DPS that need it. The reason I say Genji is because the way Genji jumps around and moves around, he's typically harder for the Ana to hit, and so when you have an Ana Genji comp, unless you're like in top 500 or some shit, where they're like, you know, it's like not even difficult for them to just quick scope on a Genji. Usually Ana players at this SR will just generally just ignore their Genji, except between fights and when they need to nano him. So I would mostly Harmony the Genji and flick it onto the Ana if she needs it, or the Reaper situationally. Also, I'm seeing a lot of Discord downtime on Zen. In almost all situations, Discord is your highest priority. Discord is your strongest. Yeah, there's your Discord right there. Discord Orb is Zen's strongest ability by far. You can essentially think of yourself as a Discord bot. You're just there to Discord things, and for a trance. Your priority in game should always be Discord first, and then heal or damage based on whatever the situation requires. But it's always Discord first. Always, always. There's literally no situation where you don't want to be Discording first. Because if you're trying to damage someone, obviously you should Discord them because you do more damage. And then if you need to healing your teammate for 30 HP per sec is not as valuable as cutting 25% of the health off of someone instantly by putting the Discord on them for your entire team to just kill. So it's always Discord first, then damage or heals. Right now you're prioritizing heals first, then damage, then Discord. You should, I would say at this SR you should prioritize Discord first, then damage, then heals. Like Zen's healing is really not that impactful. Oh, that's unfortunate. I think overall your team actually could just have better positioning. Like they don't have any DPS flankers, right? So your Ana is safe playing as far away as she wants, and since hit scans typically have pretty good fall off damage, like when your tanks are holding at that corner, your Ana can be like up here, and no one can really even like even if their hit scan gets some shots on her, she's really not going to take much damage, considering their hit scan were like all the way over here. And then yeah, and then like I would take high ground if I was the Hog, and then maybe drop after. Reaper can play as aggro as he wants. He can play like in here or in that room and just shade out when he gets pressured. You could have played high ground. It's a little risky though because they do have the Ashe, the Mercy pocketed Ashe. You could also play back here, or you could play you could play as far back as you want, but you were playing pretty close to the choke. Yeah, I think the further away you get, it's like a trade-off of like you'll land less shots, but you're also at much less risk, much lower risk, you know. So you have to kind of balance that. And if you're primarily charging up right clicks or just spamming down like a corner or you know, like a narrow street like this, it's really not that disadvantageous to be far back. You can still hit plenty of shots as Zen. So maybe play a little less aggro, or like positioning wise. Okay, this should be recontestable. That's a big mistake. So I'm not sure why you're doing this, but you spent a lot of your time. So you stop walking here. And then you stop walking here. So I don't know if you're like tapped out to like, I don't know, like turn on some music or change. You have to change a setting or something. But this costs you because you needed to be up here for the recontest, and now your tanks are going down without a support. Like they're down a support. Most importantly, your Discord orb needs to be here. You need to be up here so that you can Discord something. Your tank is also AFK. So this is effectively a 4v6. And now you're staggering in. Yeah. So that was a 4v6. And you essentially fed the other team a bunch of ult charge and gave them a good point A cap. And your Hog gets staggered. Oh, your Ryan actually is staggering himself. Honestly surprising that this is 3300. You should know better than that by this point. You're way too aggro here. Like, if that, yeah, you're gonna die anyway. Like, you're lucky that your Ana landed asleep. Even that was not enough to save you. So for starters, right? That happened. Okay, you just lost your Hog. Your Hog's right there, and then you just lost your Rhine. Okay, you just lost your Rhine, which means he's not gonna spawn for another 12 seconds or 10 seconds or however long it is, and then whatever time it takes for him to get up here, you're not pushing. Their cart's still at point A. Okay? Even with 3 on cart, which they don't have, it's literally just Moira, because this is how everyone plays, right? So, waiting 10 seconds, the cart's gonna be here. Now, is there any strategic difference between fighting when their card is here or versus when their card is here? No, there's no difference. In fact, you can fight here, get wiped, which is about to happen because they have ults and you don't, and then still have enough time to take another fight before point B, right? So there's absolutely no reason, there's no strategic reason you should even be going in here. All of you just need to wait for your tanks. And the fact that you didn't realize, that nobody realized this, yeah, that's a really bad sign. That's a really, really bad sign. That means all the diamonds on your team have gotten here through mechanical ability alone. You're not actually thinking about your win condition. You're not actually thinking about how the game is supposed to be played. So, you wait for your tanks here. You don't just go in, right? Especially as the Zen. You're the last person on this team who just W's into the enemy team on a stagger. So, I would have just waited here at this corner. Or I would have used the time to, like, get over here and maybe use this route. Right? Like, your Rhine's in the kill feed and you're going in. And look, they're pushed up so far. And actually, it's hilarious because one of them went back to... Ash went back to the cart to put 2 on cart. So that's... So if your team grouped up here and pushed hard, you're fighting a 6v4, and you can very easily sack this team. Like, for example, the Rhine can maybe charge backwards, right, and get out. The Kree and the Sigma are dead here, no matter what. No matter what. If you wait 10 seconds here, and they don't start S-keying right now, and your tanks regroup, and you push into there, you're fighting a 6v4. And you're gonna catch at least 2 of them, likely all 3. The Mercy will get out. And then you're in an... And then at that point, the cart might be like here, or here. And then... Which doesn't matter at all, because the cart's just move backwards slowly. And then you're in such a good position to then set up here on the high ground and take the next fight. Cart's gonna start slowly moving backward. You know, like... And you're still gonna have a second fight before point B. But instead, you actually do this, right? And also, I find this questionable. Like, so first, even going in here is questionable. But why would you pressure the Reinhardt with a Mercy Beam on him and not the Sigma? Right? Because, like... Wait, is there a Kree in here? Oh yeah, and there's a Kree there, so this is a very dangerous spot to be in. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't have gone in here at all. But yeah, there's 3 people on one side and 1 on the other. So like, decision-making wise, in the heat of the fight, I would have immediately recognized that this was the more vulnerable target and just W'd past the shield and dinked him in the head until he died. If he grasps, just charge up a right click, and then when it's over, just fucking dink him in the face and he's dead. Like, that's questionable. That's like, maybe you can do that on a Sigma. If he doesn't rock you and just instantly delete you, right? This is suicide. Going into, Wing into a Reinhardt and a Kree with a Mercy there, you're not gonna do anything. Yeah, so you're dead here. Okay, somehow your Genji gets 2 kills. And your tanks are back. So it went from like a shitty staggered fight to your Genji popping off and somehow getting 2 kills there. Like, look at that fight. You staggered in 4 people versus 4 people, and you actually ended up winning because your Genji killed 2 of them. Now imagine if you just waited 10 seconds and your tanks had been there and it had been a 6v4. You would have won that without losing anyone, likely. You would have just wiped those 3 people off. The Sig, the Rhine, and the Kree are dead, right? And you'd be in a much better position here. You likely wouldn't have died. You'd have trans by now. Yeah, so... You're out of this entire next fight. You're lucky your team somehow wins 5v6 by themselves. It looks like your Ryan used the Shatter. Oh, and your Zarya used Grab. Okay, again, you're extremely out of position here. Like, why are you here? Look at where you are. You're standing in front of your entire team. In front of the Rhine shield. Your Zarya is not even an LOS to bubble you. And they have people who can just delete you instantly. Like a McCree or Mercy. What the hell is this camera? Like a McCree or a Mercy with... Or, sorry, a McCree or Ashe with a Mercy pocket. Or even random Sigma M1 can just instantly kill you here. So this is not, you're kind of feeding here. Like, I get that you want to heal your Reaper, but he's fading to get out, so he's fine. Yeah, so you almost got picked there. You went down to 95 health. Almost got picked there again to the Kree on the left. So right now this is sheer luck that you're not alive, or that you're alive, because both those people had chances to kill you and they missed. And now you're backed up too far and you're not in line of sight of your team. So you're not there to offer the Discord orb for when your Rhine shatters their team. So positioning definitely needs work. Okay. Okay, so first you lost your Ana, right? Look at your positioning here. Your team is so far pushed forward. I would have just held it. I would have just called for a team wipe and then just taken another fight, because the cart's gonna be like here, like maybe like here at best before your team comes back. Or I would have used the trans before the freaking before your Ana died, and then just pushed with it. You know, this is kind of like a weird half. Like, yeah, it's kind of a weird in-between move. And you save your Rhine. Actually, I think it might have been okay if you just left the Flux while you were still in trance. Like, you could have easily made it out of the circle with your speed before you, before he finishes the pulling up part.
Experience tranquility.
Yeah. Like, as soon as I saw this, I would have just W'd out that way. And then just wrapped around here and come over that way. You know, just whoop. I mean, you're still going to be in trans when you get over here, so your team's not going to die. And right as your trans ends, you're not, like, the problem here is that since you're fluxed, like, sure, you're invincible for the duration of the flux, but afterwards, it's still going to put you right back here with your trans running out, which just means you're dead, right? So, positioning-wise, this is just really bad. Yeah, because now it puts you down right there as your trans runs out, and then you're dead here. Again, there, you put heal orb up, and then started shooting, and then discorded. Again, that needs to be the opposite, complete opposite order. Discord first, and then start shooting, and then throw your heal orb out between shots or when you're reloading. Okay, your team's committing ults, and it's kind of working. It should be a 2v2 or a 4 or a 3v2 or a 4v2 on cart. Yeah, and now your Genji's blading, which he needed to save for the grab. Which, by the way, you need to be calling all this in your team chat. So there's so many things wrong with this fight here. This one. Because one, your team should never have even... Your tanks should not have been up that far, because you should have been calling for them not to do that and just hold here. Secondly, you shouldn't have invested the trans like that. And if you did, you should have not been in the flux. Right? And don't forget, this fight started off with your Ana nano boosting your Rein and your Rein shattering. Right? So that's 2 ults invested. But you weren't there with Discord, you were just back here for some reason. And so there was no follow-up on that shatter. So your positioning has directly contributed to the loss of this fight in multiple different ways. Like this, when you're back here, that kind of costs your team the fight. Your trans and you getting picked off afterwards cost you the fight. And now because you didn't tell your team to at least hold Blade Graph, this has put you in an extremely shitty situation. So you're back now. And again, look at you guys are staggering, by the way. Alright, so look at the picture here. It's 2 people. It was originally your Genji and your Reaper. Now your Zarya's back, but your Reaper is dead. So now it's still 2v4. It's look, 1, 2, 3. Oh, and then Ashe just died to the blade, so it was 4 before the ult. And your Reaper committed his ult, which I think even that was a mistake, even though he got 2 kills with it. It's not worth it. You guys are going in staggered, 2v4, 2v5, committing ults, like Blossom, Blade, and you're not doing, because you're staggered, it's not doing enough to actually end the team fight in a favorable way. So now you're spawning. By now you should be well aware your team's staggering. Like, you should just be calling hold ults and back up. Your Genji blades here, alright? Your Reaper dies. Your Genji gets 2, but he's gonna die. Okay, so he survives, but the Sigma gets rezzed. Again, assess the team fight here. Right? It's 4 people. Okay, your Ana's almost back, so it's 5 people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, the Mercy, 5. Okay, so it's 5v5, essentially. Now, I really hope your Zarya doesn't grab here. Actually, they're investing ults. Okay, she should have grabbed there. She should have grabbed after the shatter was about to wear off. Yeah. Unfortunately, this is just really bad decision making by your team in general. But this is also your fault for not calling to back up and not waste your ults like that in chat. Yeah, because this shatter. Yeah, so your Rein blocked their shatter. Your Genji dies. And then he lands this fat ass shatter, right? So your Rein just carried here, he popped off. Now this is actually winnable if you guys can follow up on the kills. Also, you're not in position for this. Like, imagine if when your Rein shattered, you were just up here, just chain discording all the people on the ground and just fucking dinking them in the head. Right? First, like, even without a grab, all 3 of these people are dead. Guaranteed. If the Kree focuses you during that, maybe you die, maybe you don't. Even if he does kill you, honestly, it's worth it, because that's a team fight win. When your Zarya realized that people were gonna survive the shatter, she should have grabbed. She should have caught the Mercy and the Sigma and the Rein and just cleaned them up. Because now your Rein's dead. Your Ana's dead. You're out of position again. Backing up into here serves you no purpose because there's no way out except all the way over here, which you're not going to make it to. When your team started losing, you should have started backing up in here, because not only do you have much better hard cover, right? You can constantly charge up right clicks and try to get a pick, turn the fight, and it's safe and it's close to your spawn, right? So I would have backed out here, maybe tried a right click or two, and then gotten out and regroup with my team. You chose to go this way, and now you're just dead to the Ashe. So I think, how many deaths is that for you? Is that 4 deaths already? 4 deaths before point B in a single round as Zen is really, really abysmal. You should not be dying that much. I don't know why you didn't choose to go in, because you can easily just kite the Flux out and then go in. Right? Like, he doesn't have LOS on you. Plus, it got, like, interrupted or some shit because the... Or is he still doing it? I think it got interrupted. Oh, he just whiffed it. He just completely missed. Yeah. Also, not sure if you know, if you don't LOS the center of his circle, when he pulls up, you don't go in it. You're not in it. You're not actually in it. So even if you just stood here, and like he put the circle here, you don't go, you're not in the Flux. Also, you should still have been here so that you can add your Discord to the fight. If you're rotating around here, like, first of all, you're just coming up, you're coming out in the middle of your enemy team. And secondly, look the time it takes you to do that, your team is without Discord the whole time. Yeah, your Genji's dead. And you got spotted by the Kree. Okay, I mean, I'm not gonna congratulate you on these picks because these are things that every Zen should be doing just constantly. You are favored to win most of your 1v1s versus DPS. Yeah, and now you have to get out, which, honestly, if they're good, they're not gonna let you get out. Yeah, and they don't. So, really, really poor positioning throughout the entire game. I think that's a really big issue. You're getting to the point. 3300 SR is you're at the point where aim is. It looks like you've just been reliant on your aim to get here. This is the point where things other than aim will define whether you climb or fall. Because everyone has okay aim on Zen at this point. You need to be thinking about the game, right? So all those strategic things I talked about, and you need to be thinking about your positioning. And your positioning is it's really bad. And your team's still getting staggered here because you died. Your Genji's popping. Your Genji's nutty. Your Genji's nutty as fuck. Like, these kills should not even be happening, but he's making them happen. Your Genji's insane. He also built the second blade as ridiculously fast. Again, look at your prioritization. Harmony first. Shoot, 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 shoot. Discord. That's not the correct order to play. Like, Zen is a Discord bot. You Discord first, ask questions later. Okay, Discord first every time. I get that his shield was up. It doesn't matter. Like, your priority should be cracking the shield and discording him then, not healing your, like, who's there? No one can even contest your Widow. If your Widow needs heal, she can drop and get a health pack. It's not your priority to heal the Widow here. Also, she should be using hard cover, so she shouldn't be taking damage anyways. Okay. Shooting into the grasp is a little weird. Eating the fire strike is also a little weird. You needed to trans that? You absolutely needed to trans that. I'm pretty sure your Ryan shield broke. And you can see it. That's unfortunate. Oh no, he just put it down. Okay, that's really unfortunate. Yeah, you should have trans that. Should have trans it. Because now the high noon makes it so that it's probably actually not worth it to trans, but you didn't know that until he high noon, so you should have pressed Q immediately. And in fact, if you press Q, one of these two is going to survive, because Kree cannot charge a tank's health on his high noon in the time that it takes for them to get back up. Now they get up pretty fast, so. And then, you know, if he gets up, he shields. If she gets up, she can bubble. So, if she has both her bubbles up, she could potentially save both of them. And again, like I said, he high nooned after the fact, so you should have already been in trans when he high nooned, and it should have been like a oh shit kind of moment. If you're not gonna trans, you need to get out. So you should either have been pressing S back to spawn or hiding. That's really unfortunate that it gets the Ana and you. That's pretty much yeah, so okay, so again, at this point you need to be thinking, what do I need to do next? Right? You have 10 seconds every time you spawn. You have to be thinking, what am I going to do next? Think about where the card is. The card's not that far along, right? The best this team can do is take aggressive positions up here with one person on cart, right? So they're going to be up here, or they're going to be like, you know, like camping your spawn doors on one side or the other. If they're kind of split up on both, it's not good for them, actually. It's really bad for them. So they shouldn't be doing that. And let's see what they do, actually. Okay, but you know that you have another fight, is basically what I'm trying to say. Alright, you know that you have plenty of time before that card gets here. So you should be telling your team to group up and spawn. And yes, it has to be in spawn, like within the spawn doors. Like within this yellow window. Because if you don't, you are going to get staggered. Again, there's Harmony before Discord, which is an error. Okay, your Genji carries. Even holds the blade. I'm pretty sure your Genji is a smurf. Because being mechanically good, that's plenty. That's a dime a dozen in Diamond. But being smart enough to hold blade during that, that's a sign of a better player. Yeah, in case you didn't realize, your Genji is either a smurf, or he's just a really fucking good Genji, and he's but regardless, he's carrying your team. You need to be careful about which angles you peek here, because they do have a mercy boosted Ashe. She can't one-shot you anymore, but she can still, like, if she headshots you and anybody else lands even a tiny bit of spam, you die instantly. So just keep that in mind. Okay, your Genji popped off with the Nano Blade. Identifying carries is also important, because especially as a support, because you can always just pocket them and get farm free wins. So always be on the eye, always have an eye out for that. Be on the lookout. I think you can also be hitting a lot more of these long range shots. Discord first. You're always harmoning before you Discord. You should just be waiting for the Ryan to drop his shield so you can Discord him. That's ambitious. Okay. You're not gonna get away with that, Masters. He's just gonna 2-tap you.